Dear applicant, join us as we guide you through the application for the Habitat's Trust Grants, whether you're applying for the THT Conservation Grant, the THT Action Grant, or the THT Research Grant. This video will guide you step by step. To begin, type the URL www.thehabitatstrust.org/grants in your browser. It will take you to the THT Grants page. Click the Apply Now button and you will be redirected to the THT Grants portal. This is the registration page. Start by filling in some basic information, such as the name of your organization. If you're applying as an individual, please put your name. The various places where you have ongoing projects, the various species you're working on, your contact number and email address. Finally, select the grant category you wish to apply for. Great! You're now registered on the portal. Before starting your application, click on the Guidelines tab on the top left. We strongly recommend reading these carefully. You can also download them for reference. You'll also find answers to frequently asked questions here. If you'd like to review the full application from offline, downloadable sample forms for each grant category are available here. The application form has 4 pages. You must complete each page before moving to the next. Let's begin with page 1. Start by entering your project title in fewer than 20 words. In section 1, select whether you're applying as an individual or an organization. Choose the grant category, and if applicable, select your organization type. In section 2, add the details of the primary point of contact. In section 3, confirm that all information provided is accurate. In section 4, organizations should enter details such as date of establishment and years of experience, as per official records. Individuals should provide a short bio, qualifications, and years of field experience. Next, enter your total funding received and expenditure in the previous financial year. This must align with your audited accounts. Then, list key projects undertaken in the last 3 years, preferably those relevant to the proposed project. You can add more entries using the plus icon. Finally, organizations should also list up to 3 key office bearers. Individuals can skip this step. Super! You've completed page 1 of your application process already. Remember to click Save before we move further. The data filled so far has been saved for your convenience, and you can return to make edits to it anytime. Welcome to page 2. This page is important. This is where you describe your project in detail. For the THT Conservation and Action Grants, provide a clear project outline highlighting the need and expected outcomes. For the THT Research Grant, briefly outline your research questions, challenges, and expected outcomes. Indicate whether the project is new or ongoing. Next, enter the exact project location, including state, latitude, and longitude, and upload a map image for all the 3 grant categories. Before filling any field, carefully read the green descriptor text. It tells you exactly what information is required. For the THT Conservation Grant and THT Action Grant, clearly outline the conservation context and the key challenge your project addresses. For the THT Research Grant, explain the context for your research questions and how they align with current conservation priorities. Next, define the focus. In the Conservation and Action Grant forms, specify the focal species and the habitat where the project will be implemented. In the Research Grant form, clearly state your main research goal, objectives, or questions, and highlight how they address critical research gaps. Finally, List the species impacted. For the conservation and action grant forms, provide the common and scientific names of up to 5 key flora or fauna your project impacts. For each entry, include the IUCN conservation status or the relevant Wildlife Protection Act schedule. If you've worked on these species earlier, share that experience. Clearly list your project objectives, preferably in bullet points. Next, fill in the logical framework field carefully in 500 words. Don't forget to read the descriptor carefully. The next field is critical. The key to a successful project is a well-defined and pragmatic logical framework approach and an activity plan. Now move to the logical framework approach. This section captures the core structure of your project. Clearly list your project objectives, the activities you plan to undertake, their expected outputs and outcomes, measurable indicators, and any perceived challenges. Add additional rows if required. Plan your timeline carefully. All activities entered here will automatically populate the activity timeline. The timeline is organized into half-year slots, spanning 2 financial years for the THT Action Grant and THT Research Grant, and 3 financial years for the THT Conservation Grant. Spend time on the next few fields to ensure completeness. Use the descriptor lines for guidance. Please note, action grant applicants do not need to fill sections on sustainability or community participation. Research grant applicants need only fill methodology and expected research impact. If you're partnering with others for your proposed project, such as NGOs, community partners, government agencies, or corporates, check this box and provide the details of 1 to 3 points of contact. If you're filling in the THT Research Grant form, please list if this project involves collaboration with other stakeholders. Proceed to fill out the details of some of the key personnel working on the project. You can add up to 5 names. In Section 6, provide 3 references familiar with your work. We may each put to them during evaluation. Finally, the last section on this page, share details of any permits, approvals, or ethical clearances required for your project, along with their current status. Whether your answer is yes or no, we urge you to think through the ethical considerations relevant to your project. Congratulations, you're now halfway through. Click Save and move to page 3, the project budget. A descriptive budget is essential for a complete project evaluation. We've broken the budget into various heads. Fill in each budget head carefully. If a section doesn't apply, check the box provided. We start with personnel costs. This includes salaries, PF and insurance, daily wages, and all other resource person costs. Honorariums and consultancy fees should also be listed here. Do specify and detail out the type of personnel. If you wish to add a field, click on the plus icon. Next, we have a section on Field Operations Costs. This is a space to list out all expenditure on project activities that do not fall under the other categories. Then, we have space for listing out your equipment costs. This includes all expenditure on field equipment, including phones, cameras, laptops, etc., and other fixed assets that you wish to procure under the proposed project. Travel costs would include all expenditure that goes towards the travel of personnel for project activities. This includes all modes of transport, fuel costs, and applies to both local and long-distance travel. Stationery and communication costs would include all costs incurred in coordination and reporting during the project duration. Administrative costs cover your organizational overheads, rent, electricity, bank charges, audit fees, etc., incurred specifically for this project. Please note that all the costs you feed in would automatically be added under each budget segment and will appear as the grand total. If your budget includes expenditure on pre-existing fixed assets, please let us know how the stakeholders will be trained to use the equipment and how this equipment will be used after completion of the proposed project. Next, we come to the funding schedule. The grant amount requested is distributed as per your requirement biannually over the period of 3 years if you're applying for the THT Conservation Grant, or 2 years if you're applying for the THT Action Grant and THT Research Grant. So plan your funding schedule accordingly. Please note that the grand total here must match the grand total calculated in the budget table above. You will not be able to move forward with your application unless these figures match. Finally, please provide the total project budget, including funding from other sources. Here, please list your own contribution and funding received from the government. Under the Others column, please list funds received from NGOs or corporates. The Habitats Trust column will be auto-filled based on the information provided in the budget table. You've come to the end of page 3, a critical page. Make sure to cross-check all data filled in this page and click here before continuing with your application. After saving this section, you can now download and preview the information filled in the form for your record by clicking here. You're on the last leg of your application process. Page 4. Section 9 requires you to upload all relevant supporting documents. Here is a list of all the documents you'll need to upload on this page. Please make a note of each document required, the format and file size for each. You may take some time to prepare these and keep them ready in a folder. This would ease the process for you. If you're applying as an individual, you will need to upload only some of these documents. To make the due diligence process of your organization easier, there is a compliance checklist that we've put together for you. Download this file, fill in the details, sign, and then re-upload the file by clicking on this button. Now, click on this link to download the declaration form. You will need to print the form, sign it by hand, and then scan and upload it back on the portal. If you have any media coverage or work covered in the media of the organization or individual, please upload up to a total of 4 images. You are nearly there. Under Section 10, you can add any additional comments about your application or leave feedback for us. Do mention how you heard about the THT grants. Congratulations, your form is now complete. Click Submit Application button at the bottom of the page. You'll receive an email confirmation once your application is successfully submitted. On behalf of the Habitats Trust Grants team, we thank you for your application and wish you luck. If you have further queries, please reach out to us on our helpline numbers listed on our website or email us at grants@thehabitatstrust.org.